I am going to get right into this in 30 seconds. Give me 30 seconds. I got one thing to say. Blaine Damien came back a couple of days ago. He stared me down, and then that's when the video ended. Then Blaine Damien walked away. Blaine, I got rid of you for a reason. Okay, this is my channel. This was never your channel. I brought you in when you needed to be brought in. And then I realized business was better without you. So the next time you want to show up here, it might just be the last thing you ever do. Now let's get right into, oh boy, 329,000. That's a collision rating. That's not even a collision rating. That's almost a Rampage rating. Actually, Rampage is lower at this point. You know, back in the day when AEW was getting, 1 point whatever million, Rampage used to do some numbers too. Like Rampage used to, today's AEW Dynamite numbers, like the average numbers, like 600, 700,000, that was Rampage numbers a couple of years ago. But as you can see here, the October 8th Dynamite Title Tuesday did not fare very well against NXT, and we'll get into that in a little bit later. But forget about NXT. Just on its own, this is horrendous. 329,000 is horrendous. Let's remember last year, AEW got, it was like 690,000, I think, when it went head-to-head against NXT. And NXT got about 900,000. And there was this big debate last year, which is going to do better? Is NXT going to crush AEW, or is AEW going to hold its own against NXT on their night, on Tuesday night? AEW ended up losing, and it looks like, again, this year, they ended up losing. Tell me, Mr. Tony Khan, what is the TV deal for? You're getting millions upon millions. And for what? For why? I mean, it really is abysmal, because now that really just proves that, there was a point in time when AEW was crushing NXT. Every single person, the fans, the haters, the wrestlers probably, everybody knows why the rating looks like this week. And why next week we're not getting 700,000. We're going to get another 600,000. And in a year, that's going to be 500,000. Every single person except Tony Khan, it seems, knows why this is happening. We'll go on to the next slide and let's talk about some highlights of Title Tuesday. Let's get into that. Boom, there's one. Commander and hologram. They say a picture is worth 1,000 words. I got about 10,000 words, and believe me, they're all bad words for Tony Khan just because of this picture. This didn't need to happen. This never needs to happen. These two guys shouldn't be there. You know who should be there? The guys who built AE. Jay White's back. Isn't that great? Hey, remember when Jay White was a big deal? Remember after WrestleMania 39 when Jay White made his AEW debut, and it was a big deal and it was exciting that Jay White was there? Do you still feel excited about Jay White? And then, of course, there's Daniel Garcia, who announced on Title Tuesday in front of about 400 people that he will be staying in AEW. He's not going to WWE. He's not going anywhere else. He's got to be here because this is where the best wrestle. Daniel Garcia, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but in about 3 months, you're not going to be on television for about 8 months. So, good luck to you. Kip Sabian. I actually have no complaints about Kip Sabian. I will never say anything bad about Kip Sabian. I will only say things that are, negatively about Tony Khan and how he has booked Kip Sabian in these last couple of years. I have always really liked Kip Sabian. From the beginning, I've liked Kip Sabian. He was off of TV for a long time, came back with that box on his head, and I thought, this guy looks really cool. The box said, underrated, over it. I thought it was sick. I'm not wearing his t-shirt, but I have his t-shirt. I like Kip Sabian, and I know he's not even in the same league, but he kind of reminds me of Dolph Ziggler. That's kind of the way I feel, because he really is an incredible worker, and I think under the right circumstances and under the right character work and story, this guy can be really, he looks cool. So I'm glad that he's getting story time. He got some story time on Title Tuesday. He's been getting some storylines. He's kind of in this weird area with Christian Cage. I want to see more of Kip Sabian. He's an AEW original, and at this point, I think that's what Tony Khan needs to push. He's got to just bring in those AEW originals and give them the spotlight, because at the end of the day, it's been 5 years, And guys like Kip Sabian have been outshined by other people every single year. And it's not Kip Sabian's fault. It really isn't. It's Tony Khan's fault. Now, like I said, I'd talk about NXT destroyed AEW. It destroyed it this week, and a year ago it destroyed it. I mean, it didn't destroy it a year ago. Well, yeah, it was 900,000 to like 600,000. So, what is... Blaine is back. I'd start saying your goodbyes to Robbie, because after this, I don't think he's going to be back. I don't think he's going to be back for a long, long time, if ever. Isn't that right, huh? Isn't that right? Oh, yeah. Oh, 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 oh. This is my channel now. This channel belongs to Blaine Damien now. I'm back, and I am back for good.